On December 31st, I grant a royal charter to a group of English merchants. This charter is not just a piece of paper. It is a symbol of ambition and a gateway to uncharted territories. It represents the hopes and dreams of a nation eager to expand its horizons and tap into the wealth of distant lands. This newly formed company shall be christened the Governor and Company of Merchants of London Trading into the East Indies. This name, though lengthy, carries with it the weight of responsibility and the promise of prosperity. It signifies a new beginning, a venture that will change the course of history.
The year 1600 marked a pivotal moment in history with the birth of the East India Company. This was not just another trading company, it was an institution that would grow to wield immense power and influence. Its establishment was a bold statement of intent, a declaration that England was ready to compete on the global stage. It was a bold move, fueled by the promise of immense riches from the East. The allure of exotic goods, the potential for vast profits, and the opportunity to establish a foothold in the lucrative spice trade were irresistible. The East was a land of mystery and wealth, and the company was determined to unlock its secrets. The East India Company was destined to reshape the world order. Its influence would extend far beyond trade. It would become a political and military force, capable of shaping the destinies of nations. The company's actions would have far-reaching consequences, altering the balance of power and leaving a lasting legacy. Its influence would be felt across continents. From the bustling markets of London to the distant shores of India, the company's reach was vast. It would establish trading posts, build alliances, and when necessary, use force to achieve its goals. The company's impact on global trade and politics cannot be overstated. The driving force behind this venture was the lucrative spice trade. Spices were more than just flavorings. They were a symbol of wealth and power. The demand for spices in Europe was insatiable, and the company saw an opportunity to capitalize on this demand. Spices like pepper, cloves, and nutmeg were highly sought after in Europe. These exotic goods were worth their weight in gold, and control over their trade meant immense wealth. The company was determined to secure a monopoly on the spice trade, and it would stop at nothing to achieve this goal. These spices held the power to transform bland dishes into culinary delights. They were a status symbol, a way for the wealthy to showcase their affluence. The spice trade was not just about profit, it was about prestige and influence. Control over their trade meant immense wealth. The profits from the spice trade would fund further expeditions, build ships, and finance wars. The company's success in the spice trade would lay the foundation for its future dominance.
Our goal is to break the existing monopolies held by Portuguese and Dutch traders. These nations have long dominated the spice trade, but their grip is weakening. We see an opportunity to challenge their supremacy and establish our own dominance. We aim to establish a direct trade route to the Spice Islands. This archipelago, rich in valuable spices, is the key to our success. By bypassing the middlemen and dealing directly with the source, we can maximize our profits and secure a steady supply of spices.
This archipelago, now part of Indonesia, was the source of these coveted spices. The Spice Islands were a treasure trove of exotic goods, and control over them was the ultimate prize. The company's efforts to secure this prize would shape its destiny. The East India Company's formation marked the beginning of a new era in global trade. It was a turning point, a moment when the balance of power began to shift. The company's actions would have a profound impact on the world, changing the way nations traded and interacted. England, once a peripheral player in the East, was now poised to become a major power. The company's success would elevate England's status on the global stage, transforming it into a formidable trading nation. The company's achievements would be a source of national pride and a testament to English ingenuity and determination. The company's success would hinge on its ability to navigate treacherous seas, forge alliances, and when necessary, assert its dominance. The journey would be fraught with challenges, but the company's resilience and resourcefulness would see it through. The The company's ships, manned by skilled sailors and armed with the latest technology, would become a symbol of its power. The company's journey would be one of both opportunity and exploitation, leaving an indelible mark on the world stage. Its actions would bring wealth and prosperity to some, while causing suffering and hardship for others. The company's legacy is a complex one, a story of ambition, greed, and the relentless pursuit of power. The Royal Charter granted to the East India Company was a powerful document. It was more than just a piece of paper. It was a symbol of authority and control, a key to unlocking vast opportunities in the East. This charter was a testament to the trust and power bestowed upon the company by the English crown. It bestowed upon the company a 15-year monopoly on English trade east of the Cape of Good Hope. This monopoly was not just a business advantage, it was a strategic move to dominate the lucrative spice trade and other valuable commodities in the region. This meant that no other English trading venture could operate in this vast region without the company's permission. The East India Company had the exclusive right to trade, explore and exploit the resources of these distant lands, effectively eliminating competition from other English merchants. The charter essentially handed the company the keys to a vast potential empire. With this power, the company could establish a network of trading posts and settlements, creating a commercial empire that spanned continents. They were free to establish trading posts, negotiate treaties, and even raise their own armies. This autonomy allowed the company to operate almost like a sovereign state, with the ability to make decisions that would shape the political and economic landscape of the regions they entered. The company's primary objective was to secure a reliable supply of spices. Spices were not just culinary luxuries, they were highly prized for their medicinal properties and as preservatives, making them incredibly valuable in Europe. The traditional overland routes were fraught with danger and controlled by middlemen. These routes were long, perilous and expensive, with numerous intermediaries each taking a cut of the profits. The East India Company sought a more direct and profitable route by sea. By bypassing the overland routes, they aimed to reduce costs and increase profits, making the spice trade more efficient and lucrative. Their ships set sail, braving treacherous storms and uncharted waters. These voyages were not for the faint-hearted. They required skilled navigators, brave sailors, and sturdy ships capable of withstanding the harsh conditions of the open sea. The journey to the East Indies was long and perilous. Sailors faced numerous challenges, from unpredictable weather to the threat of piracy, making each voyage a test of endurance and resilience. The risks were high, but the potential rewards were even higher. Success in these ventures could bring immense wealth and prestige, not just to the company, but to the nation as a whole. The company's first few voyages were primarily exploratory. They sought to map the unknown territories, understand the local cultures, and identify the best trading opportunities. They aimed to establish contact with local rulers and secure trading rights. Building relationships with these rulers was crucial, as it allowed the company to operate with their consent and support. The company's merchants soon realized that navigating the complex political landscape of the East would be crucial to their success. The region was a patchwork of kingdoms and sultanates, each with its own interests and rivalries. They needed to play rulers against each other. By understanding the local politics and leveraging alliances, the company could gain favorable terms and secure their trading interests. Diplomacy and strategic alliances would be as important as ships and cannons. The company's success depended not just on their military might, but on their ability to negotiate, form alliances, and navigate the intricate web of local politics. The East India Company was not alone in its quest for Eastern riches. The Portuguese had arrived in the Indian Ocean a century earlier. They had established a powerful presence, controlling key ports and trade routes. The Dutch, too, were formidable competitors, known for their naval prowess and commercial acumen. The English found themselves caught in a complex web of rivalries and shifting alliances. They faced stiff competition from the Portuguese in the Malacca Strait. This vital waterway connected the Indian Ocean to the lucrative spice markets of Southeast Asia. The Dutch, meanwhile, had established a strong foothold in the East Indies, fiercely guarding their monopoly over the spice trade. Dutch trader, we will not allow the English to disrupt our control over the spice trade. Our naval strength and commercial networks are unmatched. The English adopted a strategy of pragmatism and opportunism. They exploited existing rivalries between local rulers, offering their support in exchange for favourable trade agreements. The East India Company was willing to use force when necessary. They engaged in skirmishes with Portuguese and Dutch ships. Slowly but surely, the English began to carve out a space for themselves in this highly competitive arena. The East India Company's early years were marked by a series of successes and setbacks. These formative years were a blend of ambition, exploration, and the harsh realities of establishing a foothold in foreign lands. In 1602, they established their first trading post in Bantam, Java. This was a strategic move, as Bantam was a key location in the lucrative spice trade. Bantam was a bustling port city and a major centre for the pepper trade. The port was alive with activity, with ships arriving and departing laden with spices and other goods. This marked a significant step for the company, providing them with a base of operations in the heart of the Spice Islands. The Spice Islands were renowned for their valuable spices, which were highly sought after in Europe. Local ruler. Our city of Bantam is open for trade, but know this, we will not tolerate any disturbances. The negotiations were often tense, as the local rulers were wary of foreign influence. The Dutch are already a thorn in our side. The Dutch East India Company was a formidable competitor, and their presence in Java added to the challenges faced by the English. However, Bantam proved to be a challenging environment. The climate was harsh, and the political landscape was unstable. The local rulers were often unpredictable. Their alliances and loyalties could shift rapidly, making it difficult for the English to establish a stable presence. The English faced constant threats from their Dutch rivals, who viewed their presence as an intrusion. Disease was rampant. The combination of these factors made it clear that Bantam was not a sustainable long-term base. The English merchants soon realized that they needed to expand their reach. They began to look for new opportunities and more stable trading environments. They set their sights on the Indian subcontinent. India offered vast potential with its rich resources and established trade networks. In 1612, the East India Company secured permission from the Mughal Emperor Jahangir to establish a trading post in Surat. This was a significant achievement, as it provided them with a foothold in one of the most prosperous regions of India. Situated on the west coast of India, Surat was a major Mughal port. The port was a hub of activity, with merchants from all over the world coming to trade. It offered access to a wealth of goods, including textiles, indigo, and saltpeter. These goods were highly valued in Europe and provided the East India Company with lucrative trading opportunities. The establishment of the Surat factory marked a turning point for the East India Company. It was a symbol of their growing influence and ambition in the region. It signaled their growing ambition and their shift in focus from the spice trade to the vast potential of the Indian market. The Indian subcontinent offered a diverse range of goods and opportunities, and the East India Company was determined to capitalize on them.